season that has been at an end is our beloved Bulldogs, but when the action stops, the awards roll in. And UMDs Ève Gascon may have to move some things around on her trophy shelf to make some room, as she has just been named a first-team All-American. The sophomore Bulldog is the fourth Bulldog goaltender to ever be named an American Hockey Coaches Association All-American, and she is the second in 4 years. During the season, Gascon averaged nearly 30 saves per game and had 6 games with 40 or more stops. She earned the title of WCHA Goalie of the Month twice and finished with a total of 896 saves, the 7th most in a single season in program history. When the season ended, the Quebec native was crowned the WCHA Goaltender of the Year, and just yesterday, she was added to the Canadian national team. Just to name a few reasons she may have made that roster. And again,